Welcome to Timeball Games. I'm ELD, here to ask you for help in growing the channel. When we reach 2,500 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a custom leather playmat to one lucky subscriber, so be sure to like and subscribe. Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Timeball Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Aaron on Painter versus Ben on Dredge. Two decks that you don't see a ton of. It'll be very interesting to see how these interact. Painter, of course, looking to put all of the cards in Ben's library into his graveyard. Ben looking to put most of the cards into the graveyard. Doesn't want to lose to not being able to draw a card, but if he had the option of putting 50 cards into the bin before the start of the game, he'd be thrilled to do that. And we've got a Dark Blast kicking things off of Mana Confluence, killing that Goblin Welder. A 2-for-1 as Lotus Petal was involved, and now we've got Painter Servant and Grindstone both coming down off of Ancient Tombs, and this could be over very quickly unless Ben has some type of answer. He's going to Dredge Dark Blast. Main deck not likely. In the sideboard, a lot of possibilities. Cards like Force of Vigor, Ingot Chewer, really take your pick. When you're running a 5-color mana base, you can have pretty much any type of thing that you want there, and that's going to do it. Ben making Aaron activate and then scooping it up. You always want to do that for the most part. There are times where you're able to respond to the activation by killing the Painter Servant, and then all it does is put, in all likelihood, the couple of cards into your graveyard. Painter Servant, a really dangerous 2-card combination and pretty easy to pull off. City of Traders and Ancient Tomb very often core to it. It looks like this might be like a mono red list. There's also a blue red list, which is very spicy, running Intuition, Transmute Artifact. I think this is more like the Imperial Painter, which is, I think, by far the more common approach. And Dredge, we see, is actually a mana'd variant. There are manaless versions of Dredge, which are actually pretty affordable to get into Legacy with. The mana'd version typically runs a playset of Lion's Eye Diamonds. Painter also often runs Lion's Eye Diamonds because it actually enables the quick activation, and it can be used to sacrifice in response to tutor effects as well. Alright, skipping past the mulligans here. Ben has the play. Gemstone Mine into a Putrid Imp and a Lion's Eye Diamond and a Lotus Petal. That is a lot of mana for a deck that can potentially run off of literally 0 mana. We'll see if he can leverage that into something fast enough to race against Aaron. He leads out with a Faithless Looting, a Lotus Petal of his own. End of turn, Stinkweed Imp is discarded. Draw step, he's coming back. Couple of Bridge from Belows. Swinging for just 1 right now. Once he gets Threshold, he'll swing for 2. It may have been better to just discard those last 2 cards, though we will see. Enlightened Tutor could be very bad news. Not only can it pull the combo together, but it can also find cards that will shut off Ben's entire strategy. And, boy, that looks like a Boros card. Grindstone. Not actually positive what he Enlightened Tutor for. If that's a card you recognize, let me know. Missed it here. We'll see if it's even relevant. He's got a Grindstone on board. Ben continuing to Dredge. He has a Narcomoeba joining in. Now 2 damage from this Putrid Imp. Lion's Eye Diamond being sacrificed. And he's going to flash back Faithless Looting. Firestorm, some Cabal Therapy. That could be very useful, especially given the amount of Bridge from Below is already in the bin. He's going to need to put those zombies into the battlefield before naming a card. That is a trigger that you can miss. He's got 3 zombies, and the card that was tutored for is now in the bin. Now, it looks like he's got another Cabal Therapy in the graveyard. I don't know if that means that Aaron's hand is entirely lands. Draws a card for turn. Looks like he's got 1 left, so I guess it was just City of Traders left in his hand. Still might have been worthwhile to sacrifice a Narcomoeba just to get the extra bodies on board. I think that might have resulted in lethal damage this turn when you include this Icarid. 12 down to 4. And yeah, I think that actually would have been completely lethal. Hopefully, for Ben's sake, Aaron can't capitalize on this small window. 1 more mana plus a Painter would actually do it. And we're on to game number 3. So Ben left a little bit of a crack in the defenses. Aaron not able to take advantage of that, his deck not bailing him out. And we're going to be off to game number 3. Both decks showing really powerful plays. Dredge swamping the board with minions. Painter just one-shotting the opponent. Dredge is actually a pretty interesting deck to get into the format with. It's very different, so you're actually going to get some wins, which is nice. A lot of the time when people are checking out Legacy for the first time, depending on their build, they may really struggle to get early wins. If you pick up something like a 4-color control, like a check pile style build, Miracles, any type of reactive deck, or decks that are really complex like Storm or Elves, it can be tough to get those wins. Elves can be forgiving. Sometimes you just cast Natural Order and you just win a game, which is really nice. But in terms of getting match wins, a lot of decks have just a really high threshold for the difference in between optimal play and just kind of run-of-the-mill play. And I think Dredge is fairly forgiving just because so many decks really can't interact with it, especially Game 1. There are many decks that just literally can't beat Dredge Game 1. It's nearly impossible. I mean, of course, the deck can fumble, but it's not going to be because your opponent's deck actually beats you. It's because Dredge just didn't do what it does. But it really does have some pretty lopsided matchups, so that can be interesting to get you some wins early on and potentially play against some stronger players later in the tournament. It is one of the decks that I tend to keep on hand for people to borrow when they do come to the store with an interest in trying out Legacy, but have never been able to. I've had many people pick up Dredge on installment over time. We've got a turn 1 Blood Moon here. This could be a problem for Ben. Let's see if he's able to play around it. He's got a Lion's Eye Diamond and a Gemstone Mine, which is a mountain. Goblin Welder comes down. Cephalid Colosseum. 1 damage coming in with the Welder. I'm a little surprised Ben not going for a slow Dredge strategy. We'll see exactly how useful this ends up being. He's actually just going to let that Lion's Eye Diamond be KO'd by Karn. Couldn't activate it. Looks like a Silent Gravestone. Not going to really work out too well with Karn on the battlefield. I think Ben may be missing a line here of just getting cards into the graveyard from the hand. He could have sacrificed Lion's Eye Diamond or just went to discard at the end of each turn. Once this Blood Moon came down, if he's not going to be able to use his mana base, not a whole lot of use in playing those lands. Karn searching. Kind of looks like a Ratchet Bomb. Not actually sure what that is. I believe it might be the card that he Enlightened Tutored for earlier. Mycosynth Lattice coming in, and that's going to do it. Even a card like Force of Vigor not going to be able to unlock. Oh, here we go. Firestorm, very spicy. It's going to do 3 and 3, so Mycosynth Lattice coming down and really not doing very much good. It's gonna, oh, actually it does create some problems though, because Icarid's not going to be able to come back. It makes all cards colorless in all zones, so that can actually be a bit of a problem. Breakthrough, X equals 1. Breakthrough, a pretty strong follow-up here. If he can continue hitting Dredgers, he might be okay. Is he out? No, he's still got Thug. Got a Narcomoeba entering the battlefield. That trigger going on the stack. So not the most exciting Dredgers and not the most powerful. He did X equals 1. I don't know what the last card in his hand is. It looks like he doesn't have a hand right now. But he did do X equals 1. Another Karn. And he's got the Nature's Claim as that last card in hand. So Ben wise so far to hold on to the hand with Lion's Eye Diamond. That Blood Moon. Oh, actually, how the heck did he Nature's Claim that? That's not a legal play because of Blood Moon. Yeah, I believe he just tapped a Gemstone Mine for a Nature's Claim. That's what that looks like to me. Yeah, that Blood Moon really does cut off a lot of normal lines. No, they are not catching it, so Painter, Grindstone assembled, and that's going to do it. So fortunately there, that error not actually getting Ben the win. An error there with Blood Moon in play. I've definitely seen that on occasion when players are so hyper-focused on just trying to figure out a way out of a situation. They're only thinking about the way out and just kind of miss some of the barriers that are in their way. Definitely up to both players to catch that. But I'm glad that Aaron's still getting the W, as his Blood Moon provided plenty of protection even against a deck that doesn't actually have to pay any mana for spells if it doesn't need to. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.